Hi, Belle here. I'm so glad that you chose to take some time for you so that you can learn how to manifest from a different way. The concepts I'm going to be sharing with you have never been shared before. And the reason I know that is because these are the tools that have been bestowed to me through hundreds and hundreds of client hours when I do one-on-one spiritual coaching and healing sessions with my clients. These are techniques that have been given to me in images, in downloads, in spontaneous, oh my goodness, I need to write that down moments with my clients over the last few years. I have been working in this space for over 25 years, and I'm super, super excited to be bringing you some of the insights that I share one on one, but in a more open way right now. So, without any further ado, I want to share my screen and we can get started with soul mapping and vision boarding. It's such an exciting thing to share. I just know that when you begin to get very laser focused and understand which parts of you are telling their story, oh, you are just going to elevate your vision and you are going to see some incredible, incredible aligned results. So, the very first thing I want to share with you is if you take nothing away from this other than this one statement, be careful what you wish for, that I will be super happy. Why? Well, I've got my own story about that, but I was avidly into manifesting many, many years ago. And you know what? I have been creating vision boards for over 23 years. And I can honestly say almost everything on my vision boards have come true, but not in the way that I expected. And so that's why I share with you be careful what you wish for, because sometimes the wrong part of you is getting too much credit and being able to run the show. And that's never good if that part of you is not aligned with your highest and most perfect vision. So I'm going to explain a little bit about that when I talk about your soul family. And I'm going to share with you the coolest part of this is that you're going to understand the difference between your ego mind and your higher self. So don't get confused. This is not being egotistical. This is the lower mind versus your higher mind. And once you understand these concepts, you are going to be able to go ahead and create a really powerfully aligned vision board. So, just a little bit about me. I've been in this wellness space for over 25 years. I started out as a remedial massage therapist and I extended into a niche of working with pre and postnatal women. And it was just a beautiful space to be in. I learned a lot about women over those years. I've worked on thousands of bodies, I think it's almost 10,000 bodies over the time. I've been assisting with births. I have been helping couples to do pre-birth work. I have worked with couples in the post-baby, moments, and I've worked with women who have journeyed to try and have children and haven't been able to. I've worked with women in all stages of their, I guess, reproductive years and lives and post. So I guess you could say I'm a women's wellness practitioner in an alternative space. Over the years, I've done my counseling certificates. I've become a health coach. I am a qualified yoga and meditation teacher. I've taught hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of classes. I have a very firm focus on stress management for women, understanding how hormones come into play, how cycles, how archetypes come into play. I'm also a Reiki master. I've been using Reiki since I was 19. That wasn't so long ago. And I've also been a Reiki master for 8 years now. And I've attuned many Reiki masters and trained them in my time over a number of years. My most favorite thing that I've ever done is I took myself back to school at the age of 40 and I completed a medical and health science degree. And in that degree, I learnt a very in-depth understanding of the physical human body, and I was able to apply my understanding from a medical intuit perspective. So I see energy and I feel energy and I understand what's happening from an energetic response, but I was able to actually go into anatomy and physiology, biochemistry, understanding the neuro parts of our body. So understanding how nerves feedback, understanding how our systems work together. So I have a very good understanding of all aspects of the human body and many different aspects of our spiritual body as well. The first thing I want to share with you is why this is such a good training ground for aligning with yourself and getting incredible results. So, this is a testimonial from Dominique. She came to me not as a business coach, because that's not what I do. I am a soul alignment coach, and I teach women how to trust their highest self and tap into their inner wisdom so that they can find success in whatever it is they're looking for. Because what I find is sometimes women are all in one camp or all in another camp. So they might be really business mode oriented, or they might be completely not into that masculine kind of energy, and then they're really in their feminine. I teach women how to bring it together, the yin and the yang, I guess you could call it. And so with Dominique, she was working with me, and when she came straight into my Soul Alchemy program, it's a 12-week program, and she was able to up level herself in a way that allowed her to charge her worth, not discount, not self-sabotage, not have poor boundaries anymore. And she was able to step forward and present herself as the incredible coach that she is. And she was able to charge what she was actually worth for her time, for her investment in her training, and for her resources that she shares. And so that is out of learning her soul map, manifesting really laser focused into her vision board, and stepping in to being able to connect with all that she is in her higher self. The next result I'm going to share is a bit more of a personal one. This is from Heidi. And so Heidi began just doing one-off sessions with me doing soul mapping. And we noticed a huge change, because what happened is after only a month of working together, that's 2 sessions that she did with me, she was able to access her inner child and get to know the part that had been keeping her small all this time. And she was able to heal a great many of those parts in just 30 days. But remember, I said this is a work in progress, right? And so she was able to look at the job that she was in, which was on paper all very fine, but it wasn't lighting her soul up. And so she had the guts, the bravery, and I guess the incredible coincidental good fortune that happened is that she started looking for a role. She found an incredible role. She found her people, and she was able to authentically disengage from the role that she'd been in. And now she's just lit up. And it's because she's integrated her inner child or children, there's many of them, and so they don't run the show anymore. Her highest part, her most authentic part comes through. So that's what can happen for you as well. When you start to enter soul mapping world, you'll attune to what's best for you. And you'll stop wishing and blindly kind of saying, yes, if I had this, this would work for me. And if I had this, this would work. I'm going to put that on my chart. And yeah, I really want this car, and I really want this holiday, and I really want this house, and whatever it is. You'll actually just start aligning, and then the universe can't help but support you when you're giving forward your intention of an alignment for all that's possible for who you are. So you'll never again create from a wounded place, because sometimes when we create from the wounded place, we get what we wish for, and then we wished we didn't. I wonder if you've ever felt that yourself. So you guys, this is for you, and I'm so glad you're here. If you're looking to increase your ability to manifest what's perfect and most aligned for you, if you've been someone like many of my clients that I've worked with, and also myself before I discovered this and my guides took me through this, because remember, I started first and then I was sharing afterwards. I knew I was called for something more. I knew that there was more to what I was actually in and offering, but I was limiting myself and I didn't know how. And it wasn't until I started this process that I was able to access my higher goals, my higher mind that led me to the goals. And then I can access my highest potential. And that's why I'm here with you guys today. And this has been a time of learning and sifting and sorting and making sure the techniques work for everyone. Because You deserve this in your life now. You deserve to elevate. And that's what I'm here to share with you. So, big question, you guys. Do you know which part of you is trying to manifest and create that vision board? And I wonder if the last vision board that you made, did everything work out for you? And if it did, in what way? Could it have been better? Are you disappointed with some of the things that happened? You got to be really careful with how you're asking, what you're asking for, and also why you're asking for it, because the universe gives you exactly what you're asking for. So if you don't know your soul family, this is where we need to start. You are more than who you believe yourself to be. You are an incredible soul made up of many different parts. But the true you is the part of you that you were created to be. That's why you dropped into this earth, time, space reality, to be that part. And the ego part of you also dropped in as well. Not your egotistical part. It's the part that is going to sift and sort, kind of sit there like your wingman. And sometimes it can be a bit judgmental and critical. Sometimes it can try to keep you small. Sometimes it keeps you in your comfort zone. And for very good reason. Your ego is there to keep you safe. And so your body is really fine-tuned to feel safe or not safe. There is no in between. You don't feel sort of safe. You either feel safe or you feel unsafe. And your ego just wants safety. And so what happens is, as a child, as you grow and you're starting to notice the world, you'll develop a part of you from your inner child that feeds into your ego. And so you might start to feel like some of the things the grown-ups are doing is all about you. And maybe if you could just be different, if you could be a people pleaser, if you could do everything right, then maybe the grown-ups wouldn't behave the way they are. Or maybe you wouldn't be treated the way you are. And so that's how a wounded inner child can get formed. I'm not talking about overt abuse, different story, and we can discuss that separately, but you would still create an inner part of you that is wounded. But this is just some of the thoughts that might go on just in a normal upbringing, normal quote unquote, right? So if you have a part of you that needs to be perfect, that you know you're a perfectionist, we could say that's formed from a lack of understanding as a child, and then you made a belief, and then you stuck to that belief, and now you believe it's true. And so your ego knows that, and it will keep tapping into that. Don't you remember when? Don't you remember you need to do this? This is what you need to do. Oh, you didn't do it. Oh, that's no good. That means this is going to happen now, right? So it takes you into a cycle, a bit of a spin. So you start to create these parts, and you can have adult parts, because once your inner child starts to grow up, it's taking all of those false beliefs and those limiting beliefs, self-sabotaging beliefs, and you actually just get to bigger. And in a nutshell, we need to be able to transcend the lower mind, the ego, and all its attachments to go into the higher mind, the higher self, the true part of us that has no judgment, the true part of us that sees from a higher perspective and knows that this is all just a bit of a game that's happening. This is a learning space. Don't have to take it so seriously. And when we can learn to rise and expand and come into awareness and consciousness and connectedness with our higher self, well, that's when our life begins to change. So I want to go briefly, and you can learn more about this in my Soul Alchemy program, but let's talk very briefly about the higher self and the ego mind. Your ego mind always wants, needs, and desires. Your ego mind believes that if only you had the thing, you would go into alignment. And the higher self just says, I am. Ego says, I want a new car. The higher self says, I am right there with you. Sure, if that's what you think will find you alignment, I am not arguing, right? I am right there. And notice the roots of that picture we've got there. This is you learning to ground and be in the here and now. I'm not one of those spiritual teachers that teaches you to go off and be in the galactic federation of the archangels and archives. I'm not that kind of teacher. What I teach you is ground yourself in the here and now. We're having a physical experience. We're a spiritual being having a physical experience in this earth, time, space reality. Learn the lessons in this lifetime. Allow yourself to expand and connect to all that is, all that you have come from, but be very grounded in who you are. That's the message that my guides are always telling me. When we do that, We're connected to all that is. That's what that vortex is above. So you can want, need, and desire really cool things. I want to have a family. I desire a life partner. Awesome things. But what happens when those things don't quite bring you the same joy, happiness, contentment that you thought that they would? So this is where we need to learn, is it the ego asking for these things? Yes, always. And what part of this is asking for all of these things? And will it bring me ultimate fulfillment? Only you can decide on that. So in a little bit of a summary, this is a very small soul map, I might say. They can get really, really busy. Your soul map can be enormous, full of all of these different parts, some big, some small. But the most important one we need to work on is this one. This is who you were created to be. It's in alignment with all that is. Call it God, call it source energy, call it universe, call it Dennis. I don't care. It's the God of your own understanding, something that's bigger. Now, you might not believe in anything bigger, and that's okay, because I know that you believe that there is a part of you that is above all of the judgment, the criticism, the lack, the self-doubt, and that is your higher self. So if that's as far as you go, that's okay, because that will take you into your most authentic self anyway. So we're here in this life. This is who you're created to be, and your ego is right there with you. But then you've got past life influences, if you believe in them. And then we've got your inner child creations. And then we've got different archetypes. I work in the feminine archetypes mostly with women through my Soul Alchemy program. So I work with the mother and the maiden and the crone energies to help make sure that you are completely whole and completely aligned with all parts of your feminine self. So if we were to have a look now at an inner child expression, this might help make a little bit more sense. So you can start doing this immediately with yourself, okay? So maybe write things down. You may have had an experience as a child that you learned to be a perfectionist or a people pleaser. And that could be because you were always worried or a little bit sad. It could be that you were actually wounded in some way. But there's also going to be incredible parts of you that are curious and playful and quite spirited. If you have ADHD, you might call spirited a bit hyperactive, right? That's what they used to be called. But spirited kids, oh my goodness, they're the best, right? And the reason for that is because they don't have the same fears as some of what maybe the worried child might have. So the spirited child often gets in trouble and told to be quiet, stop disrupting the class, that sort of thing, right? But the spirited child is teaching you about freedom and adventure. But the spirited child could have been told, and that's what we know from the research, that a child with ADHD has thousands more negative interactions than a child that is more neurotypical. And so you might have started as a spirited child and it's quite small, but as you grow, you might start to tell yourself, I need to pipe down a bit. I'm too much. Why can't I just shut up? Why can't I let someone else do this? Yeah. And so it becomes a bigger part as an adult. And this part might get in the way of who you're supposed to be. So I wonder if you can see yourself in any of these examples here, or maybe you've got some others that are in your inner child archetype. Maybe if you've got kids of your own, you're starting to see that your kids trigger you. I know that that sucks. I know that that's hard, but I promise it's a good thing because we can use it. We can actually notice what it is that we're seeing in our kids that are starting to make us feel a little bit like, oh, that's freaking me out and that's annoying or whatever it is. Then you can actually leverage it and start to understand which part of you as an adult is getting in the way, which part of you is not allowing yourself to have fun, be playful, be creative, be spontaneous, be free. And that's how we can start to work together. So with that said, when you know your parts, you can then actually tap in to understand their wound, their strength, their weaknesses, what they want, what they don't want, and what they've learned. So go back and listen to that again, write all those aspects down, and then you can start to ask yourself, become your own coach, and ask yourself those things. This part of me is rebellious. Why am I like that? Well, I hate authority. I hate being told what to do because I've got a better way. Oh my gosh, that's a great strength. You're resourceful. You're a clear thinker. You don't need to be influenced by anyone. But that rebellious part stops you from collaborating. That rebellious part keeps you stuck in having to learn by failing and picking yourself back up again rather than just saying, hey, have you done this before? You have? Okay, cool. I'm going to take that on board. Thank you for that. Okay, awesome. Right? So you'll be able to learn from these different parts, grab what they're good at, leave what they're not good at, learn all of their lessons, and then you'll be able to find that you can leverage all of that into becoming more aligned with who you are. So, what on earth has this got to do with creating a vision board? It's because if you are creating a vision board that looks like this, but you don't understand what you're actually asking, you actually might get what you don't think you're wishing for. Okay. So if you're saying, I want bravery, then that means you're going to be tested to show how brave you are. If you're looking for opportunities, well, what kind of opportunities? Opportunities to learn? That doesn't sound great. Or is it opportunities to grow and expand? Are you looking for perfect timing? What for? Understand the words that you're using, and then you're going to have a much more aligned vision board that you'll be looking at and leveraging from. Here, this is interesting. This is what someone else has put on their vision board. And I thought, oh, it's an interesting thing. 2024, so for this year, and let the universe decide. Do you want the universe to decide just randomly, or do you want to be in the driver's seat? So keep that in mind as well. I quite enjoy this one. This one's very clean. This one's very neat. It's got a nice tone to it. It's soft. So to me, there's a mood that's conveyed. Yeah. I wonder if you're picking up on that. Now, this isn't mine. So some of the pictures don't really align for me. So that's what I'd be looking for. So I like the order. I like the sorting of things, right? And I love the idea of just living my best life, because that tells me it feels relaxed. It's not forcing. So I wonder if you can start to think of different words that you can use to title if you're going to use words. But which pictures are going to light you up? I'm not sure what the berries mean. I don't like these berries, but I love these berries. Okay, so this to me means I'm eating healthily. Okay, I like it, right? But if I'm just going to throw a picture in there because it suits the color, what does that mean? So what you're going to be thinking, every single picture needs to mean something. And as we go to the next one, we've got a blank check here. $250,000 in 2024. Well, this is cool. Yeah. But is it limiting? So does it need to say something else, or do you need to go to your upper limit? I wonder how you'd feel if you had a check there that was for $1 million. So it's when you can start to see and really get into the nitty gritty, you know, what is it this person's wanting? I can see some travel here. I can see mentoring. I can see different homes. Well, which is it? Is it a holiday home or is it a real home? Like an everyday home? What's going on for this person? I've got some women's hands here. This looks like a women's circle. And happily living my best life. I enjoy that. Six-figure biz. It's pretty clear. So think about what it is that works for you in the different styles that I've got. I love this one. This sets a mood. This one's very clear to me that this person needs to go into retreat. Now, autumn is a really beautiful time as it starts to get cooler to go into retreat mode. You can see that there's some coziness going on, some solo activities going on. You can see that it's about retreat, quietening down. This is a nice one. Be kind to your mind. This looks like someone is being kind to their mind for a season. So you might only use this for a season. You might say, this will just take me through the cooler months, and then I'm going to create one for spring. Spring's a time of growth and rebirth, right? So think in terms of that. Do you want a year-long vision board, or do you want a seasonal vision board, or do you just want a season in your life? It could be 10 weeks, it could be 5. Keep that in mind when you are looking at how you're creating your vision board. And I want to share with you, if you are finding that some of that hit the spot for you, I want to invite you to come into a conversation with me about my Soul Alchemy program. This is a 9-week group program with another few weeks before and after to do some tidying up, let's say, of the energetic parts, working on limiting beliefs one-on-one with me. And so in this program, I teach you all the different ways to access the different parts of who you are. I teach you meditations to go into your sacred heart space and to go into your inner child healing space so that you can listen. Or once you know the technique, you can actually just do it for yourself. You can do it while you're driving. It's really cool. And so, in this way, you learn how to radically transform all of who you are, because you won't be just kind of throwing darts at a dartboard anymore, hoping something happens and you hit the target. You'll actually know exactly, this part of me has popped up. I feel triggered. I notice my words are different. I notice that I'm feeling sad, lonely, miserable, irritable, whatever it is, and you'll be able to do something about it straight away. And I teach you how to understand how the different parts of your neurotransmitters that work in your brain and in your body all around. I teach you how to access different parts of the brain, different parts of the body, how to release trapped emotions so that you can actually be much more grounded and clear, and reset your vagus nerve so it comes online. So you won't be in fight or flight mode anymore. You'll be in rest and grounded and clear mode. And I teach you how to develop an incredible disciplined spiritual practice that works for you, that is in alignment with all that you are, so that you can actually daily show up for yourself with self-care. Because spirituality and self-care is not just a one-time thing, set and forget, do it once a week and then you're done. It's actually a daily attitude. It's a daily choice. And there'll be parts of you that sabotage you from that because they're scared. They just want to keep you safe and small. That's the influence of the lower mind. So if this is interesting to you and you want to go deeper and you want to actually unpack all of these different parts in a way you've never heard before, you've never seen before, if you want to transcend some of the talking therapies that you've done for many, many years, this will actually help you to see true transformation. So I invite you to think about it. Think really hard about how you're going to start to create from your vision board now after what I've shared with you. And I want to invite you to have a conversation with me and talk about how in just 90 days you're going to actually be able to create the most powerful vision board that will actually set you on the path to your aligned success. So are you ready to go deeper? Are you ready to think about how your vision board is going to set you up for the most aligned success? I hope the answer is yes. And I hope now that you're going to start to ask yourself questions. Which part of me is wanting what I'm about to put on my vision board? Why is it important to me? How will I feel once this happens? And will this take me to a deeper connection of all that I am so that I feel grounded, calm, clear, and on purpose? So you guys, that is all from me. I hope that this has got you thinking and you are really starting to get more clear on the importance of having an incredible vision board aligned with your soul elements so that you can actually bring forth the incredible gifts into the world that I know you have, whether it's on a grand stage or whether it's just in your sphere of influence, it doesn't matter. You were created for a purpose and your soul is here to do great work. I wish you every success and I really hope that we work together at some point too.